This
Connect.
conference will now be recorded.
Hi and hello everyone. Welcome to Isha Training Solutions. Yeah, Satish.
So, Sarva, I'm into the performance testing from last 6 years. I'm
Mhm.
using LoadRunner, and sometime based on the requirement, I do for JMeter. Okay, not into the mostly into the performance engineering side, collecting of metrics as anything. Okay, so we just take the our environment, sorry, monitoring like CPU utilization or memory. Those things only we see it. We don't see that threads and everything into that. So, uh, I think my lead or something other, my manager would see that how the things are going on, monitoring part of thing, perform. So
Mhm.
based on if I go with this and my developers and my DBA architects or everybody, when we see some sort of bugs or any live issues are coming on, they see these things all, profilers or something. So already our developers or everybody are doing it, right? So how after learning this course, what extra I can add after apart from performance results? Hope you got my question.
I think so. So Satish, actually, this can be split into multiple things. It is like we are going to cover the content. Okay. So what you are going to get the benefit, you are going to learn the concepts. Earlier, you are saying somebody is actually doing this activity, but you don't have any contribution towards that. Maybe you are not aware of the core part of what they are doing. So going forward, what will happen? Your contribution will be there. That is one thing. And previously, you are saying they found certain bugs and they will do all the activity, right? Who knows whether they did it or not, performing anything on that issue, or did they give any update on that, or you are not aware of what is technically involved in that. So going forward, what will happen? You provide suggestion. They are going to do certain activity. You are going to validate it. It is a mutual benefit or mutual activity that you guys are going to do. So the core essence is earlier it was black box for you because they are doing something. You are only part of the team. But going forward, you are going to contribute or you are going to provide suggestions, observations, findings, recommendations, everything you are going to do because you know what is what. Earlier, it was not the case. Going forward, you will contribute. That is a difference you are going to get. And also, don't think like all the learning that we are doing, we cannot contribute into the current organization. That will never, or most of the time, it will not happen at all. Because the learning that we are doing, it is a futuristic learning. It is like you are equipping yourself that whenever there is a challenge comes, you are ready to take it. It is not like whatever we are learning, 100% of the learning that we are doing, we are going to implement it or what. Not exactly all the scenarios it will happen. And one more thing also from your words, I could understand there are situations you are using load runner, there are situations you are using JMeter. Unless and until chance coming, you are not using JMeter at all, right? So similarly, there are learnings that we are going to get it unless and until if your chance is coming, you are going to use it. That is how you need to take it. Hope I
Okay.
answered your question.
Yes. I got it. So mine is a product-based company,
Sorry,
and it's not.
sorry to cut you short. I think
Sorry.
we'll take certain part of the session and then I'll take your question because others in the forum should not think like straight away they started the question. So
I'm sorry.
definitely I'll
Please
take your
continue.
question. Exactly in the middle of the session, I'll take your question. Okay, Satish?
Sure.
Sorry.
Please.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah. So welcome to Isha Training Solutions. Today, actually, in the previous session, we saw like what are the contents that we are going to cover as part of this course journey. Hope my voice is audible, my screen is visible, guys. So with that understanding, I'm going into the content now. So usually, this this understanding problem will be there with everybody. What is that understanding problem? What is performance engineering, what is performance testing, or what is DevOps, or what is development, what is architect. These line definition you should be having it. So what is performance engineering? If I ask that question to you people, we will definitely say like these points are actually performance engineering. But in a nutshell, if you are asking what is performance engineering, you are trying to do things in an optimized way. You are trying to do things in a optimized way. Say like you are doing some application performance measurement means how you are going to optimize certain things. So make sure that your application is actually working in an optimized way. Okay, there is no hard thumb rule that this is the way you have to do like this. If you are not doing like this, it is the end of the world situation. Come again. You are telling something or asking something? Hello.
No, Sarvanan, it was a random voice. Someone was not on mute, so it
Okay.
came up.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So your intention is you need to optimize things, because there are times the learners will ask this question, sir, tell me this standard, this standard, this standard. There is nothing like standard and all. Not standard. It is like your experience that you are going to implement it in an optimized way. Okay. Yes, there are standards are there, but you cannot expect everything to be standard. Not all the way, all the metric, all the process, all the procedures. You cannot expect process, or you cannot expect standards. Even I asked you this question because many are asking this question, so I will put that in the forum. Anybody can say what is a standard SLA for response time?
Depends, Kanhaiya here. It depends upon the application. I mean, like what client wants, how he wants in that way. Like usually, like I'm working as a performance testing. Like so, we blindly say that 5 seconds, 3 seconds response time is better. That's what they say under high load condition.
Wonderful, Kanya. See, this is what I expected, because actually saying there is no hard and thumb rule that it is actually standard SLA, right? It is all your experience only. 3 seconds some are saying, 5 seconds some are saying, but there is no hard and thumb rule that you have to say like it is a standard. It is all for account to account, application to application, vertical to vertical, technology to technology. That is how it is actually defined as SLA. You cannot say standard SLA is so and so. You will not believe. I work for a customer. The SLA is 12 seconds. SLA itself 12 seconds. So it is that customer defining. They are paying money for you, and you are working for them, and they are saying 12 seconds is SLA. So you are working for that, right? So you cannot tell them like no. I want everything to be loaded in 3 seconds. Means they will tell you what, boss. My application is not a customer facing application, and it is just an insurance application. I wanted to get some information, load some information, submit some information. Definitely it will take more time. Why do we require to load it in 3 seconds? No. My SLA is different. That is how the customer responds, right? So these are certain examples. So there is no standard or hard and thumb rule that you have to do this like that. You need to get this. No, nothing like. It is all our way to do optimize things. You are going to fine tune certain things. You are going to change certain things, and you are optimize certain things. That is your engineering, your performance engineering. That understanding you should have. That understanding you should have. And one more thing also, it is to help certain things to complete. Okay, it is not that everybody A to Z they will not be good in whatever you are doing, right? That is nowhere going to happen. Nobody in this world will say A to Z I'm Guru. No, that is not possible. But you can gather that information, or you can provide certain recommendation to so and so team, so that they can work on that. So that they can work on that, fine tune the application. So that is how this performance engineering journey is actually there. Okay, so performance engineering. If somebody is asking what is performance engineering, you are going to fine tune it, and you are trying to do things in an optimized way. Okay. Sorry. It can be done in multiple ways, right? Like maybe UI, maybe application, maybe database, maybe infrastructure, maybe middleware, maybe anything, even network. So what you are doing, you are trying to optimize things in a different layers. Okay, that is the understanding. Okay, and there should not be any blame game. because what is happening in many of the organizations, the performance tester, what they will do, they will say like so and so response time. Nobody will take responsibility because performance testers are not aware who is actually the culprit, where is actually the problem. So they will provide only the holistic number, because performance testing tools are giving only the holistic number. It will only provide you the so and so response time. That's all, right? You cannot get the split up and down. Okay, performance testers in this forum, I'll ask this question. Say like you are doing a business transaction, and in that business transaction, search transaction is actually taking 12 seconds. Search transaction is actually taking 12 seconds. Okay, you are giving that number to me. I'm a customer, you are giving that number to me. I'm asking this question, where that 12 seconds is actually spent. If I ask you this question, what answers you guys will respond? Where is that 12 seconds time spent?
It must be in the
So for
database.
that,
One at a time. Yeah. Tell me. Satish, you can go first.
sorry, can I do that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You go first.
Hello.
Yeah, proceed.
See, for searching that, so it might be taking down,
Your voice is breaking.
but down of all that, it might for one request, is still that breaking?
No, it is now fine. Yeah.
Break.
Yeah. Proceed. Actually, when you're asking breaking, it is breaking. Please continue. It is audible.
Hello?
So Arun, you go ahead then. Arun, you proceed.
So I can suggest in that case that the database might be taking some time because it is a search transaction. So it must be searching from the database.
Not exactly. You will only put the blame on database. Why application developer would not write the business logic wrong?
Can I say like it? You cannot say
Yeah,
it is only. It is not only the data. It can be either the DB, either the infrastructure, or in maybe some code logic. So, there are many reasons. So we cannot pinpoint.
So Sarva, yeah.
Just by using the report.
Yeah, one at a time, guys. Valid point, Kannaya. We'll give a chance to Satish also once. Satish, you go ahead, Satish.
So in that transaction, it might be we might have some request which downloads the content, which may consist of MBs of data. So which might take time to download. It might take for 2 to 3 minutes also. So that might also take that parameter.
Wonderful. So these are something like you need to bring into the plate. So now at least the way three of them answered, right? We are getting into that flow. See, that's a problem also. Now I'll tell you why usually I ask this kind of a question is to put the thought process in your mind. Okay. Say whenever any performance tester who is actually coming and attending interview with me, if I ask you a question, anything related to analysis side, many are actually not answering those questions, and simply they are saying, my lead only will do that. I only do scripting. I only do execution. My manager only will do that. Like that, they are telling a very lame excuse. They're actually saying, you should have that thought process in your mind when there is a problem. It may be UI side, it may be application side, it may be database side, it may be infra side, it may be test data side, it may be something script side, it may be code side, it may be network side. All these are different flavors. You should apply your thought process in each and every layer. You have to find it each and every layer as a problem statement, right? You cannot only focus on a particular layer and say, hey, you are the problem, you are the reason, you are the culprit. No, nothing like that. So performance engineering is one thing that you are going to point out each and every point or each and every layer, and then you are coming to the conclusion, is there any problem or what? And no one single reason will be the problem always. No single reason will be the problem. It will be the attribution of multiple reasons which will create one serious problem. Okay, correct or not? Even thread problem is coming or CPU problem coming. Your response time problem coming, is it hits per second problem coming? Its throughput problem coming, is it your memory problem coming? It is all one problem attributed to the another problem. Okay, so you cannot say like a single problem which will be the reason for all the other problem statement. No, no, nothing like that. So your approach should be in that way. Definitely, I'll assure you guys. Like maybe we are in the early stage of this training. Because of that, if I ask you certain questions, you guys will little struggle, or you guys would not exposed to those kind of a situation. Maybe you will be struggling to answer those questions. But towards the end of the course journey, you will be in a position to answer 10 different ways to approach an problem statement. Approach a problem statement, you will give 10 different statements. Now maybe Kannaya, the way Kannaya is giving, the way Satish is giving, the way Arun is giving, right? That's how you guys will approach your problem statement. I hope definitely you would have faced it in your interview sessions and all. This kind of a similar questions the interviewer would have asked, but the maximum things you guys will reply is what? Response time increase. Yeah, this is the usual answer everybody will say. Response time increase. That is a problem statement you guys will say. What is the reason problem that you faced? If somebody is asking you, you will say your response time increase. That is the only problem statement you guys will usually cover it. But actually saying that is not the only reason, right? Response time increase is not the only reason. Your CPU might be spiking, memory might be spiking, sleep might be spiking, threads might be spiking, garbage collection is a problem. The algorithm you've chosen for garbage collection is a problem. The min size and max size you defined is a problem. What are all the different possible combination of issues are there? That is what we are going to cover in this entire course journey. The entire course journey is covering of all these problem statements, and you will be in a position to say, no. Going forward, I am going to approach my things in a different way. I'm going to approach my things in a different way. Traditionally, what I did, what I'm going to do differently. That is how this performance engineering I'm going to consider this. Okay, I'll take a pass here. The first question I'll take Satish's question, and then we'll take the remaining. Satish, go ahead.
Sorry, I just forgot my question. I'll come back again. Okay. Sorry for that.
Universal problems. Yeah. Okay. So no problem. So whenever you find it, no, you put it in the chat. Okay, that's that usual procedure. No, wherever you find it, you put it in the chat. Anyways, I'm going to explain, but you for the sake you type it in the chat. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I got it. Sorry, I got it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so mine is a product-based company. So we are doing from last 6 years or 7 years. I have started performance engineering, performance testing over there, skipping part. So when should we start this performance engineering? The concept wise, you said, right? So when we should, that after development is completed, or when we are going into the production, or it is a continuous process?
Right from the beginning. Requirement gathering phase, right from the beginning you have to start your activity. So it is like very simple concept. You want multiple bedrooms, multiple restrooms, and multiple things. Means from the basement you need to have the plan. What you are going to do, you need to have the plan. You need to have the vision. What you are going to do, you need to have that to be constructed in the basement itself. Okay, there are things if you are trying to modify after your basement is done, and then if you are trying to modify it, you cannot do. Correct or not? That is the fundamental, right? So application development also, there are things you need to provide provision. You able to understand, or am I deviating?
Yes.
I have one doubt.
Just a minute. Yeah, I'll complete it question and then we'll take this. Okay. So we don't want to cut chat this. Already I cut chat this question once. So the thing is that you need to have a proper provisions to be there in the requirement gathering phase itself. And then if you move on, the money that you are going to invest for the recovery will be less. You mentioned, right, post development or post deployment, if you are taking the engineering activity, the recovery investment will be very heavy, very heavy, because the money that you are going to invest after that will be very heavy. You need to rewrite the code, or you need to rewrite the entire architecture. You need to rewrite every bit of code, every bit of software, every bit of things, infrastructure change, or that everything will be cost effective. So if you are doing it early, you are reducing the cost. If you are doing it late, a lot of investment will be required. Clear, Satish?
Yes.
Yeah, Priya, you go ahead with your question.
Like performance engineering, we started once we done the performance testing, like after execution and analysis. So
Sorry,
we go for
Priya, Your voice is going up and down, Priya. Please keep your
And now it's audible.
yeah, it's audible. Yeah.
Yeah. So performance engineering we started once we have done with performance like analysis and execution, right? Execution and analysis. So how it started with the requirement gathering phase? Like it's depend upon what type of bottleneck we are getting after execution.
I have a
Requirement
similar
gathering-
question. I just want to add with Priya's question. That is like we get to do the performance engineering after we get the application performance tested. Then during requirement gathering, how can I start the engineering part?
Performance engineering is not in the cycle of performance. That is what I wanted to tell you. Performance engineering across the cycle. Performance engineering can be started right from the development phase itself, SDLC itself. Okay. So it is up to you where you are involving this performance engineer is matters. Okay. Right from the design stage. Okay. The requirement gathering or the architecture and design stage. Right. From see, that is what I am going to explain it in the performance engineering life cycle session. So in that session, probably you guys will get a clear picture what should happen, where should happen, what are the activities should be happen. Like that, we will be discussing it. But in a nutshell, I'll explain. Say like a developer who is actually doing their activity, right? In parallel, performance engineers should also do their activity. Performance engineers should not restrict their activity only in parallel to the development activity. They can do in parallel to performance testing. They can in parallel to infrastructure monitoring team. So performance engineer's role is across the stream. That is what I'm trying to say. A performance engineer's activity across the stream. So it is not something that they only focus on performance testing life cycle alone. No, not like that. SDLC also they can focus on. Okay, even you think in this way. Your developer is actually doing a unit testing. Your developer is actually doing a unit testing. But your developer is working in an agile world. Agile world or DevOps, whatever you call it as the term. Agile world. How many days nowadays developers are getting for one user story development? Anybody aware of it? Maximum?
4 weeks.
Maximum. Very high range you are saying. Probably 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Probably 2 weeks or 3 weeks. That's the maximum nowadays that people are getting for user story development. So you think from the developer's perspective, will it that sufficient to do all the type of testing or validation during the development phase itself with its shorter timeline?
No.
No, not at all possible. If we are developers also, that is the same story. We will not be in a position to cover each and everything and all. So what we will do, we will try to skip certain things. We should not blame them, but I'm saying that is the reality, right? If you are not having sufficient time, you cannot do it. Even I'm not blaming the developers. You think about performance testers. Performance testers, those who are doing in agile world. Anybody is working in agile performance testing activity? Agile, I mean sprint level performance testing activity. Anybody is doing?
I am doing, but it's more like an ad hoc kind of.
Yeah, maybe you are not doing the in sprint level. You are doing on the release level. Correct.
Yes. No, it's mostly ad hoc. Like, not sure. Like, they'll give me a timeline to develop the script, and maybe then I'll sit idle for some time. Then all of a sudden they'll ask me to execute.
Universal problem. It is happening everywhere because they don't know how to fit in the performance testing. That's the problem. They don't know how to fit in, where to fit in. Because performance testing is an independent activity. Under the assumption that stable application will be there, in that they have to do it. But when you are going with this agile-based model, getting the stable application, it is little tough, right? That's a problem to fit in the performance testing. But why I ask this question, I'll tell you. When you are fitting performance testing in the agile project, you are getting very minimum time to do the scripting, execution, reporting, and all. In that case, in that very minimum shorter time period, will you do load, stress, endurance, volume, scalability testing? Will you do that?
No. Might be
Not at
single
all
user
possible.
test.
Not at all possible. Not at all possible because we already they are jumping for timelines, and you cannot take time for doing all these type of testing. And we know the pain and gain of doing all these type of testing, right? We know the struggle. As a performance tester, if you are asking me today's script, tomorrow it will not work. We will do modification. Day after tomorrow it will not work. So that is how your problem is actually going on, unless and until the very stable application, if it is there, no problem. Daily deployment application and all headache only. Okay, so So the blame game is everywhere, right? Developers are not getting sufficient time to do the thorough testing. Performance testers are not getting the sufficient time to do the thorough testing. Infrastructure guys are not getting the sufficient time to do the thorough monitoring. All these are problem statements. So there comes the performance engineer's role. Here comes the performance engineer's role. What performance engineers will do?
I have one doubt. So that infrastructure team is something different. We are not doing infrastructure monitoring.
That's what I'm saying. Performance engineer can do that. Performance engineer can do that.
Okay.
See,
But
that's
other team is also there, like
they are there. Yeah, true. No. You complete your question. Yeah, sorry.
my doubt is like we like performance engineer only do this infrastructure monitoring, or there is in organization there is some other team also they are doing this infrastructure monitoring.
Definitely there will be infrastructure team separately will be there. They are actually doing the code deployment or production support or whatever. Okay, maybe each and every organization they'll call it in different names, but ultimate activity is this is the one. Okay, so if you are if a performance engineers are actually going into that place, what they will do when if I'm going there, what I will do, I will observe what is the maximum CPU utilization coming, what is the maximum memory utilization coming, whether the current infrastructure can scale to a future load or what, whether the current infrastructure is really utilized or what, or do we really require to invest this much money in the next year or what, or do we do any optimization technique so that we can use this infrastructure in optimized way or what else I can do on this infrastructure. You are able to understand what I'm saying? That is actually called as capacity planning, right? I think you guys would have heard it before. Capacity planning. Okay, so these are something like performance engineers can contribute. Okay, it is not no single work performance tester can restrict themselves. Performance engineer can contribute across the layer, provided you should have a thorough knowledge on that sector. That is the reason I told you in the demo one also. Don't think like I will become complete performance engineer, then only I will take the job of performance engineer. No, not like that. It is a journey. You are going to learn, and along with that, you are going to do that activity also. Okay. So I told you, right? You are a performance tester means you make yourself comfortable in performance testing. Along with that, you try to learn some infrastructure monitoring concepts, development concepts, or you can do some language understanding, UI development language understanding, or DB concepts, or client-side performance monitoring concepts like that. You can expand your knowledge, but you are too good in performance testing. That's the logic. Where you are, comfort yourself and then expand your knowledge. That is how this performance engineering is going to helpful for you. Clear, guys? Priya, did I answer your question, Priya?
Yes, got it.
Any further question? Yeah. So I interacted with multiple accounts or interacted with multiple performance engineers also. So you become a core expertise in certain things, and, which means that there are people will ask this question to me also. Sir, if I go and read Java, it will take so much of time, right? How you are saying grow yourself in other areas also. Okay, so it is like, don't think if you wanted to drive aeroplane, you should not think like first you have to go drive cycle, bike, car, and then only aeroplane. No, not like that, right? If you wanted to drive aeroplane, you should go straight for aeroplane learning. So here also, performance engineering aspect you wanted to learn means your Java core concept you will be learning for the optimization logic only. You are not going to learn all the core techniques of Java, right? Your focus itself towards performance optimization. Hope you guys are able to understand. It is not something that you are going to start from first standard and then you are going for the college studies and all. You are going to approach your things towards the performance learning, performance tuning, performance optimization, compression, all those things only you are going to focus on, right? So that learning will be little easy. I hope everybody is understanding, because because the fresher developers, those who are writing their program, right, what is their intention would be, say like you, if I ask this question, you are a fresher developer, what your intention will be if I give you a module to develop? What intention you will focus on?
Error free
That's all.
code.
That's all. That is what your focus will be, right? Because you are a fresher. To that level, what will you think? Whatever you are giving, it should work. That's all. You will not think optimized code, rocket speed code. No, nothing. You cannot expect that from a fresher developer, right? But now you are already a 10-year experienced guy in performance testing. I am asking you, go and check what are all the best possible way to write a Java program. What will you do? Your search criteria will be what you will do it in Google, guys. What will you do in that case? What are all the optimization techniques available in Java? What are all the do's and don'ts available in Java? What I should never do it in Java when I'm writing a program. That is how your search criteria will be, right? So it is something that anyways you are going to learn, guys. I'm not totally denying that you should not learn Java. You will be learning it, but your approach is towards the performance tuning and performance optimization. Because your approach is performance engineering. You are not going to start things from zero. You are going to start things from 10 or 15. That is how your approach should be. Everybody is accepting, right? This is how your approach should be. What happened some 6 years before? One banking customer, that application was driven written in VB.NET. Okay, VB.NET, and every month that bank will spend 3 to 4 days for the full and final settlement. Month end they will do the settlements, right? It took 3 to 4 days for completing that activity. What happened? They gave the task to the same development team inside their organization. The same development team, they gave the task, asked them to do the same application development in ASP.NET. After the development also, that application still took this maybe probably little less, but it took similar 2 to 3 days for completing that full and final settlement. Okay, they were shocked because say we rewrite the entire application from VB.NET to ASP.NET, still we did not get any improvement. What they did is that, like, they invited us, myself and my friend, everybody went there, and then we did the assessment. Assessment means this gap analysis, right? We did that. You know what happened? Those developers, they did not use the core logic of the ASP.NET. What they did, code conversion. In Google, they will search it, right? For loop in VB.NET, what is available in ASP.NET? Select case, what is there in your .NET and what is there in ASP.NET, like that. They searched and then they copy pasted that code and they completed that entire development. But actually, there are core capabilities that are there in ASP.NET, right? They did not use it at all. That's the reason it was not working. And myself and my friend, and we instructed them to do the certain optimization, and it come, and every month now they are spending only 4 hours to complete that activity. Only 4 hours. That is the optimization that we provided, the recommendation that we provided. So these are something that example. So when we are doing things, we should do things in an optimized way. In an effective way, we need to provide recommendations and suggestions, because we know that core concept. We know the core concept, how to, what has to be done and what you should not do. That concept we are aware of it. In that way only, performance engineering will help. Everybody clear with this, guys? Any question in this?
I have one question. Like, it is little bit off topic.
Yeah, Kanya, please.
Yeah. So, like, is it good to start performance engineering once you are well versed in performance testing, or like it is like for everyone?
It is for everyone. That is what I'm saying. Like, you don't restrict or say you think in this way. You are a DBA person. Optimizing DB query is easy for DBA person or performance tester.
DBA.
Yeah, that's where you are fine tuning things, right? So it is across. It is across. It is not. You don't want to restrict that it is only for the job of performance tester to do that role. No, not like that. you equip yourself, spread your knowledge across the layer and make yourself comfortable. That is, I'm using the word comfortable because all the way, guys, you should be comfortable what you are going to do. Because say like you are preparing a performance testing report. In that report, you are adding certain metric, say like some 10 metric or 15 metric you are adding. Customer is asking what is this metric and what is this metric. If you are not comfortable to explain that, then there is no point in having that metric in the report. Many are doing this mistake. That is the reason I'm telling this. They'll simply copy paste the metrics that are provided by the performance testing tool and then they will submit to the customer. Customer will ask a very basic question, but they will not answer. That's a mistake. So each and every point that are there in your document, you should be comfortable. Answer. You should answer for all those questions asked by the customer. This suits for everywhere. Even resume also, people will copy paste it. If somebody is asking a question, they will not answer what is there in the resume itself. So make yourself comfortable. What you are doing, you comfort yourself. So it is not something that can be driven for only performance testers. No, anybody can do it, provided you should have a breadth of knowledge across the layer. But it is more suited for performance testers because it is actually driven via performance testing activity. Because performance, you are optimizing things, right? That is the reason performance testers are more suitable for this. But don't restrict with performance testers alone. Anybody can do it, provided even the developer can learn a single tool in a week of time. They can learn performance tool and then they can make use of it, right? There is no restriction. So it is up to you where you are currently there. You expand your knowledge and then make yourself comfortable in other spaces also. Clear, Kanaya?
Yes.
So you take my thing also example. That is how I moved my entire thing. Okay, there are people will have the mind block like how I can do it. Maybe this guy is talking something. I don't know whether it is possible for me or what. No, not like that. I myself learned all these things over the period. Wherever the challenges that are coming, you implement yourself, learn things, get it done, and then you expand your knowledge. That is how the journey will be. No single night you cannot complete all these things. Because my friend once tried this. He took the QTP book. You know, I don't know QTP. You guys are aware of it. Then now it is actually UFT. So QTP book, he took it from library and he told me I'm going to complete this and then only I'll do the automation. He never ever done that. Okay, so it is like that. You cannot say like I'm going to theoretically strong, practically strong, fundamentally strong. No, unless and until you implement it, unless and until you do yourself, you cannot be well wise or you cannot too good in that concept. So it is a journey. That is how this course content also I prepared it. I prepared it keeping in that mind that you should have a fundamental knowledge on each and everything. Java, thread dump analysis, heap dump analysis, garbage analysis, or wherever you wanted to do whatever, you should have that understanding. That is how I triggered this entire thing. Say like just a minute. Hmm. These things anyways we will see in our regular uh, uh, session when there is topic that are coming for the benefit of others. I'm showing a small snapshot of what we usually do. Say an example. This is a sample program. Okay, I'm executing this program, which is actually for deadlock. When you're writing a program, unknowingly developer did some mistake. Example, okay, when they are doing a mistake, unknowingly they did it, and in that time there is a deadlock happened. Deadlock means, say like one resource is actually expecting another resource, mutually locked. That is actually deadlock. In our regular classes, I'll show you how the deadlock is actually happening, and with the picture we will see that. For now, I will show you. This is actually JVisual VM, which is a utility tool inside the JDK folder. You guys can go and check this utility tool. So what this utility tool will do, it will try to do the JVM monitoring. JVM monitoring, you can do it. So if I go inside the tool, looks like this tool is already detected the deadlock. Actually, I monitor the program which is executed in Eclipse. Eclipse is running on a JVM, so JVM can be monitored using this JVisual VM. So JVisual VM is now monitoring this JVM. Look at the way it is actually telling thread 1 and thread 2 are in monitor status. Actually monitor status, and it is also saying deadlock detected. Deadlock detected. So when you are taking a thread dump under the situation, you can go and check it like what is the status of each and thread, every thread. Okay. So you can see blocked. This is actually blocked in status. So this is how in our regular thread dump analysis session, we will see what are all the status, how to identify the problem, what activity you need to do, usually manual log analysis or automated log analysis. How will you find the bottleneck and all, we will see in detail. We will see in detail. That just I wanted to show you a snapshot of how we will do the thread dump analysis and all, right? That is the reason I showed this. Any question till now?
So this Eclipse is inside this JVM, like you told earlier.
No, any Java program will run on a JVM, Java virtual machine. When you click execute, no, that is running on a JVM. Even your JMeter you are launching, that is running on a JVM. So when you are running a Java program, it is running on a JVM. It is like a Java virtual machine. It will create a virtual machine that in that JVM it will try to run it. And JVM is nothing but your JDK, all those things, tools are there. Right? You are using that and you are executing a Java program. So when you are executing it for individual JVM, it will create a memory. On that memory only this Java program is actually running. While doing that, keep an
So
eye on
when we
the
install
internal.
this JVM, so it will come automatically, right? JVM.
I lost your question. Sorry, come again.
So when we install JDK in our laptop, so it will come automatically JVM, right?
When you are running a program, yes, it automatically comes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So those
Hi,
are either
Sarvanan.
Ayushi. Yes.
Yeah, Sarvanan, I also have a doubt. So, like you showed us that the status is blocked. So, our job also includes how to resolve it, like giving resolutions and making it in the working state, or we just
Either
need
way.
to identify the act.
Either way, Ash. That is what I told you. If you have a core knowledge of this programming knowledge, you yourself can do it. Okay, but you are lacking in that space. You
Okay,
can instruct someone to do it. Okay, because you are at least you are finding this
okay,
problem statement, right? Nobody is actually doing it, and you are doing it. So either you have a knowledge on that space, you do it. You do the code optimization also. That is also a performance engineering activity. But you are thinking like, no, I don't have that great knowledge on that particular layer. You put that recommendation, and you are telling like when you are running a program, these are the threads that are blocked. I found it using the thread dump analysis. This is the thread dump, and you go back and then do the analysis. And if you go and read it here, you can see this is a blocked threads, right? This is a blocked threads. So what this blocked thread is actually telling me
yeah,
at form.example.memoryleak.deadlock program, there is a deadlock program that Java 27th line, there is a problem. So if I go here, looks like in the 27th line, there is a problem. This is the line. This is the culprit. So if you are having a knowledge, you do it. If you don't have knowledge, you instruct someone to do it. That is how you are going to do the activity. Getting my point?
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
I have one more doubt. So we have the access of application code also, right?
When you have it, there are situations you will have it. There are situations you will not have it. When you have it, you do this.
So suppose we don't have the access of the application code, so how we will check
There
like
are
in
other
line number 20?
there are other activities out there. Anyways, in our session we will cover where you have access, where you don't have access, how will you approach. We will cover it.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
So those who are interested to proceed with this course journey, please reach out to Kumar sir. This is Kumar sir number. Okay, I'll paste it in the chat. So you guys can take it. This is Kumar sir number. Those who are interested to proceed with the session, you can reach out to Kumar sir. And any commercial related, course content related, anything you wanted to discuss, you can discuss to Kumar sir. This is actually weekday session, Monday to Friday, weekend holidays, and then 1 hour per day. This is a time slot, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock Indian time, corresponding US timings. Okay, and then every day we will record the videos and we will share it in the YouTube playlist URL. And then all the artifacts related to the course content we will be sharing using the Google Drive. Google Drive, you can download it and then make use of it. All these things we'll try to cover it in the practical way. That is how things will be there. So those who are interested to proceed with this session, you can reach out to Kumar sir. Okay. Any further question?
Sarvana sir, I have one question.
Yeah,
in organizations, right, they don't consider performance in engineering as a particular role. I mean, they don't give it a particular name. So
actually, no, there is nothing like that. Yeah, if you try for interview in Oracle, their role is performance engineers only. They'll never take usually performance testers directly. If you have all these knowledge, they'll try to put you as performance tester, but internally you will do all these things. And if you are experienced guy, definitely they'll give the role as performance engineer. Okay. And one more thing also, don't think like performance engineer means performance engineer. Performance tester can also contribute. They can also do all these activity. Okay. So in certain organization, your role is performance tester. They expect all these work. In certain organization, their role is performance engineer. So it is organization to organization. Clear?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Just a minute. I'll take the question which is there in the chat and then I'll come to your question. Okay. Is this course from today till end of the month? No, I did not count the date and all, but it will go for next 23 days, 23 hours it will go. 23 hours it will go. Okay. Bharat Raj. Okay. Yeah. You go ahead now. Your question, please.
Okay. So thank you for giving me the chance. Yeah, sure. The question is, you will be teaching the app dynamics also. So that's what you mentioned in number 7. So and also you said JVisual VM and other profiler directly running the Java code. So the main focus, like as we run the test in either through the load runner or JMeter, we go into the app dynamics and try to find out the bottleneck or any kind of issue. So how much will be class taking the app dynamics, running the scenario with many user, and like what are the bottlenecks and how to find the bottlenecks, how to correlate with these things with the code. So how much will be learning with app dynamics and many other tools, and how do you do that?
Sorry,
I'm talking about I'm talking about the, like, as a performance engineer, we'll be having much tool like App Dynamics or Dynatrace, right? So, and we'll be triaging the issue. So how your course will help us like learning the App Dynamics more than JVisual VM?
Yeah, we are probably will take, I think, 4 hours for completing this app dynamics learning. So in that 4 hours, I will be covering the maximum part of maximum capability and features that are available in app dynamics, and we'll also covering the bottleneck analysis, like the thread contention issue or any issue, how to apply load, how to reproduce in tool, how to do the call graph analysis. Everything we will be checking in using this app dynamics.
Sure. No, I understand. So I'm trying to understand, like, instead of learning through the Java code and JVisual VM, how it is going to help more as a performance engineer rather learning in App Dynamics or any other tools like that. Like I'm just trying to
performance engineer. No, the performance engineer, either you have tool or you don't have tool. That is a problem. If you have tool, things will be easy. If you don't have tools, still things will be happening, but in a little delayed fashion. But now if you are having the APM tool, performance engineer job is optional, because they know concept, they know process, they know procedure. Straight away you have tool, you have the data, you are only going to analyze it and provide the information to your stakeholder. Performance engineer can easily do it. Okay, they are going to get the infra data, they are going to get the database data, infrastructure, or your application or your UI friend data, everything they'll collect it straight away, they'll pinpoint the issue. That
Right.
in that way, performance engineer job will be little easy. But if you are not having APM tool also, still performance engineer will do it. But the thing is, it will take some time because they have to use multiple tools to get to a problem statement.
Right, I understand that part. So you'll be running all these things as single threaded, right? Okay.
Multi-threaded. We'll do load. We'll do
In JMeter?
Yeah, JMeter.
Okay. Okay, then I understand that. All
So
right.
AWR report analysis will be covered in this course. Yes, Suganya. Yes, it is available. We can do that. So if you are not having any further question, thanks everyone for giving me this opportunity. Thanks everyone for joining this session. And are we covering instrumentation of servers in App Dynamics? Yeah, we are covering. We are covering that. Arun, we are covering that.
Okay.
So thanks everyone for joining today's session. And
Sarwar, can I ask you one last question?
Oh, sorry, Satish. Yeah, you go ahead. Ask your question.
So as a performance engineer, do we really need to create any tools to develop tools to identify the bottlenecks
Not exactly.
or performance related?
Not exactly. Say it is up to you. Say it is all interest of the people only, Satish. I see, based on the available tool set also you can do things. Okay. If you don't want to really think about the other way of it, whatever is available you can do. Okay.
No, because one of my ex-colleague who moved into one of the very big organization. So I don't want to take the name of the organization or the person. So they, when I usually talk with him, he used to say that we are creating our own tools for performance. As he has become a performance engineer, they enforced him to create tools for identifying the bottlenecks. So do we get into that situation? Because I'm not particularly very good in programming.
No,
so
not like
that's
that.
the reason I'm
Very rare cases these things are happening. And also I'll tell you, see, I don't know to whom you are referring about. Writing a macros also nowadays it is actually programming only, right? But macros are readily available, internet, the our APIs are readily available. So it is small things means even we can manage it. But I don't think writing a whole lot of entire applications and all, I don't think many are expecting. But if it is happening in his organization, it is maybe corner to corner chance. Okay, very corner to corner chance. Not regularly happen. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining today's session. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Sir, one last question. Like, is tomorrow's session?
Tomorrow's session is there. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like if we pay only, we can go for tomorrow's session, or is it like the demo session?
I'm not sure. Usually these things will be communicated from Isha. You will get the notification.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.